Hi, I'm Todd Murray. I'm a lawyer in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I help people facing debt collection. In this video, I want to talk about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or FDCPA. The FDCPA is a federal law that regulates what debt collectors can and can't do when collecting a debt. Think of it as a debtor's bill of rights. Now, it's important to understand two things about the FDCPA. First, it only applies to consumer debts. These are obligations that were incurred for personal, family, or household purposes. In other words, business debts don't apply under the FDCPA. The other important thing to know is the FDCPA only applies to debt collectors. A debt collector is defined as somebody who's collecting the debt of another. So for example, if you had a Capital One credit card and the Capital One collection department is contacting you, they're not collecting the debt of another. They're collecting their own debt. They're not a debt collector. The FDCPA doesn't apply. But if Capital One sends your account to ABC Collection Agency, they're collecting the debt of Capital One. They're a debt collector. The FDCPA applies. So what are some of the important provisions of the FDCPA? Probably the most important provision is that a debt collector cannot contact third parties about your debt. This means they can't call your family, they can't call your friends, they can't call your neighbors, your coworkers, or any third parties. There are a few narrow exceptions to this rule. They're frankly too detailed for this video. But my advice to you would be, if you know a debt collector is contacting third parties about your debt, consider talking to a consumer lawyer. They can assess the situation for you and let you know if any of the exceptions apply. So what are some other provisions? Debt collectors can't harass or abuse you. Now, admittedly, harassment and abuse are very broad terms. But here's what we know from the FDCPA and from courts is definitely considered harassment and abuse. Number one, a debt collector can't call you before 8 a.m. and they can't call you after 9 p.m. That's local time where you're located. Number two, debt collectors have to identify themselves during the call. Number three, debt collectors cannot use profanity or racial slurs during a call with you. And number four, a debt collector can't call you repeatedly or even cause your phone to ring repeatedly. Now, courts have held that debt collectors are allowed to call you once a day. Twice, maybe 3 times is kind of a gray area. Anything more than that is probably going to be considered harassment. What else? Debt collectors can't lie or mislead you during a debt collection call. Probably the most common misleading statement that debt collectors make is something to this effect. If you don't pay this debt immediately, we're going to sue you. That may ultimately be true. But if you're dealing with a collection agency that doesn't have any lawyers in their payroll, or if you're dealing with a law firm that doesn't have any lawyers licensed to practice law in your state, they're probably not going to sue you right away if you don't pay immediately. That's a misleading statement. I've even heard horror stories of debt collectors posing as police officers and telling unsuspecting people that they had a warrant for their arrest. If they didn't arrange for payment immediately, they were going to send a squad car to pick them up and take them to jail. Clearly, this is false. This is misleading. It's probably a violation of a number of different criminal laws as well. These are just some of the important provisions of the FDCPA. In a short video like this, I can't possibly cover all of the different provisions. If you've been dealing with a debt collector and they've done some of the things I described in this video, or they've done anything that just doesn't feel right to you or doesn't pass your smell test, consider talking to a consumer lawyer. If you live in Minnesota, feel free to contact me. There's a simple contact form directly below this video. Just fill it out and I'll get back to you right away. Otherwise, you can call me directly at area code 612-284-4141. Again, I'm Todd Murray. Thank you for watching and good luck.